Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Fumble Live. We have a lot of bubble news to get into, as I'm sure you guessed. But before we do all that, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, share it with your friends. And now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
I'm Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? It's Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Happy Monday, guys. It's your girl, Britt. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
How did everyone's weekend go? Did you all have a nice weekend? Chris?
I had a fantastic weekend.
Where do we go this weekend, Jackie? Where do we go? Talk to us.
Fantastic weekend. I didn't go anywhere, but I planned a surprise birthday party for someone, and I didn't think it was going to go well. And I didn't think a lot of people were going to show up because of the quarantine, but it was popping. I was so excited.
Hey.
How was your weekend?
It was okay. I mean, yesterday was absolutely terrible just because I had like the worst brunch experience of my life. I started crying.
What?
Wait, what happened?
What the hell happened?
It was my favorite brunch place ever, and I was like, finally trying to like get out a little bit, and they just, obviously it's California, they just have the patios open and stuff right now. So we went, our reservation was at 1:45. We didn't get seated until 2:45, even though we had a reservation. And then it was another 30 minutes before we got our drinks. And then after that, my food was terrible, sent it back, got something else. It was even more terrible. And so I just started crying because at this point it's like 4-something p.m. and I haven't eaten all day. I'm just like hungry. I was hangry. It was an emotional day, and I was really sad because this is my favorite brunch place, and since this is my first time going since the quarantine or whatever, I was like so excited, and it was just all ruined, and I don't think I'll ever go there again now. So it was pretty unfortunate.
Tear it down. Say their name right now. Tear them down.
Of course, but still. I still sad about it. I feel like NBA players in the bubble complaining about stuff that don't really need to be complained about, but whatever.
Right.
Sometimes we all need our moments where we get to complain about things that others might not think are worthy of complaining about. Listen, I would be frustrated if I were out. That's disappointing. And Chris, did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah, it was good. Just weekend with family was cool. Yeah, I didn't do nothing crazy. No brunch problems here. No surprise parties because I didn't get my invitation, Jackie. So I hope it was as popping as you were saying. But no, it was good. Good weekend.
You have a whole child, sir. I was not going to stop you from being a good dad over the weekend.
Yeah, you're right. That's a fun one.
He's like, I can't because I'm not allowed. So there you go.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Devin. I should have invited because everyone was asking me if I had any vegan dishes, and I was like, I should have called Devin. You're right. You're right.
Oh, vegan food. I bought vegan Ethiopian food yesterday. I love Ethiopian food, but I tried this.
So good. Yes.
Like, oh my god, it was delicious.
Was it the place on Fairfax?
No, it was, so it's on the west side. It was on Santa Monica Boulevard, but I love the Fairfax restaurants. I'm just glad that there's one closer to me now, so I got it delivered. All right, you guys, let's jump into the news. So obviously, the NBA is allowing players to put different phrases and slogans on the back of their jerseys instead of their names in order to promote Black Lives Matter and show their support of racial equality. And athletes had to select from a list of pre-approved words and phrases, which included things like vote, education, reform, and Black Lives Matter. I mean, the list, we've talked about it before, the list had some great things on it. Others, it just sort of felt impersonal. I think that the players should have been able to submit their own phrases and their own words for approval instead of having to select from this pre-approved list. And apparently LeBron felt the same way because he revealed over the weekend that his jersey isn't going to say anything special at all. He said, quote, "It was no disrespect to the list that was handed out to all the players. I commend anyone that decides to put something on the back of their jersey. It's just something that didn't really resonate with my mission or my goal." We know that he has taken a very strong stance against racial inequality, and his support of the Black Lives Matter movement has never been questioned. He's been very vocal about it. So I can see why he didn't feel the need to put something on his jersey. I think that, I could see why he would think it would be a little bit too performative. He explained his decision even more, saying, quote, "I would have loved to have a say, so what would have went on the back of my jersey. I had a couple things in mind, but I wasn't part of the process, which is okay. I don't need to have something on the back of my jersey for people to understand my mission or know what I'm about and what I'm here to do." So I obviously was not thrilled with the list of pre-approved words, but I do think that any attention, no matter how small, is beneficial. But I do not blame LeBron at all for choosing to opt out of this part of the the NBA's restart. So, Jackie, I have to go to you first. I know you might be talking about this later on, but I just want to know, were you surprised by his decision to not wear a message on his jersey?
No, I told you guys last week that I thought the list was trash. So for him to come out and say, I'm definitely going to get into it later, but yeah, no, I think he made the exact right move on this one. And just because, it's like saying just because somebody throws some food in front of you, it doesn't mean, you're vegan. If I throw a bunch of beef in front of you, you're not going to eat it. You know what I mean? If it doesn't fall in line with who you are and what you believe in. And so I think he made the right call on this one.
All right. Well, Britt, do you support LeBron's decision to not wear a phrase on his jersey, or do you think that it still would have been beneficial for him to participate in this?
I support it. I also wonder what he would have wanted to put. I wish he would have said what he would have liked to put on his jersey.
Yeah.
But the list is the list. You can't have like all of these players one by one sending something in order to vote yes or no on, because then you're going to get, okay, why did this player get this and mine didn't get picked. It's just like, I get why they had a select thing of things it was voted on with the NBA and the NBPA. So the Players Association had a say in it, and this is just what the list came to. So if nothing on the list, tugged at your heart, then so be it. I know there's 17 other players that also said that they are not going to have anything on their last name or on the back of their jerseys but their last name as well. So that's what people chose to do, and I agree with both of them. I agree with people who picked something that they felt was important to them, and I agree with people who decided that they didn't really have anything on the list that spoke to them.
Mm-hmm. Chris, where do you stand on LeBron's decision to not put a message on his jersey? Is there, any way that this could send the wrong message, or do you think that he's going to show his support in other ways, more actionable ways?
Yeah, no, I have no problem with this. I think we all made it pretty clear that the messages on the jerseys in the first place was, if anything, it was just an add-on. It was just extra to, doing whatever the NBA can to, put the message out there. Doesn't mean that they have to do it, and also doesn't mean that if they don't do it, that they're against it. And I think that was definitely the case with LeBron James. So I had no problem with that. Doesn't mean that now LeBron James' jerseys doesn't say Black Lives Matter. Doesn't mean now all of a sudden LeBron James just doesn't care about the movement. No, I don't see it as that at all. So I had no beef with it. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that more later on what we're not going to do. But for now, let's get into some big news. This is one of the first things I saw when I woke up this morning. Washington is officially retiring their racist team name. This is so long overdue, but it's huge. This is amazing. So Dan Snyder announced today that they're changing their name. In a statement from this morning, he said that they're rebranding the name and the logo. The statement said, quote, Dan Snyder and Coach Rivera are working closely to develop a new name and design approach that will enhance the standing of our proud, tradition-rich franchise and inspire our sponsors, fans, and community for the next 100 years. Roger Goodell recently said that he is supportive of this important step. It's just interesting. Fans have been protesting this name for years, but the final straw seemed to be when sponsors threatened to pull their support of the team. Pepsi said they'd no longer support the team. Nike pulled all the Washington merch from their site. FedEx requested that they rethink their name. So it sounds like, I don't know, the threat to their bottom line probably was the straw that broke the camel's back for them. It would have been nice to see that it came from a place of just like personal enlightenment, but that kind of leads me into my first question to you, Britt. Do you think that Dan Snyder, who infamously said that the team name will never change, truly had a change of heart, or was this solely a decision made out of a threat to the franchise's bottom line?
Devin, you already know the answer to this. Like, no
Right,
way
yeah.
Snyder did this out of the goodness of his heart. I absolutely not. Like, I think it was done because of the bottom line. He he literally had to change it because he was losing out on money and was going to lose where they played at and all of this, that, and the third. There was no way that this was even remotely done because he cared about anything. And that's just going to be, I mean, I'm glad it's changing. I said Britt's take a week ago that he was going to have to change it because everybody was going to jump ship from the Washington team, and now it's gone to that point. So, I mean, when I heard about it yesterday, I was very excited. I never once thought he did it out of the goodness of his heart, but I'm glad he was at least forced into doing it because now for the American community, they have some something that they have been working on for a really long time, finally being able to check off, like, we've been protesting and wanting this name to be changed, and now it's finally happening. So I think for them, I'm so happy. But Dan Snyder, no, he's a piece of crap, and he's going to remain that.
I love it. It's totally true. And you guys know that I always believe that people can be enlightened, they can be educated, but somebody who has been so stubborn on something like this, I feel the same way, that it's likely not a change of heart or a moment of education. It's all about money. Chris, can you talk to me about the significance of this name change to you?
Man, this is huge, and I think, like we've been talking about, this is way, way overdue. And the fact that he was so adamant on reminding us that it's been 87 years and however long it's been that they've had the name, that makes it even worse, So with this whole thing, as happy and as excited as I am that they're finally doing it, when it comes to any news like this, I'm that dude that's like in the back of the room just waiting until it actually happens. Like, I know it's official, I know they're saying it, but I'm the one that's wearing. I'm not going to celebrate, not going to congratulate nobody until I see the name go from the to whatever the doo-doos, whatever they decide to change the name on. So I'm happy about it, but I want to see it happen first. The same thing with the Clippers when when the whole scandal came out with old dude before Steve Ballmer came in. I was like, good, let me see him actually walk out the door. And I hope they don't reverse this or whatever. So I'm the same way about this. So until that name is changed, then I'll finally congratulate them. But I'm glad that they finally said something, because that's what we were talking about last week on the live, is that it was like speculation, but they never really actually said something in an actual statement, and they finally said something. So it's a good step. But until that name is changed and that logo is different, then I'll congratulate the team.
Yeah. So you're the optimistic skeptic, the skeptic optimist. Yeah. Wow, that's hard to say those words back to back.
Right.
I don't know why I struggled with that just now. I've been having a morning, guys. Jackie, I want to ask you, do you think that this will get the ball rolling for other teams to change their names? Last week we discussed how there are 5 teams that could, potentially change their names. So is this going to be the thing that gets that moving?
I mean, I got to backtrack on this Washington thing a little bit, because I don't know if you guys saw that there's a realtor that literally trademarked every single possible name that Washington could have. And I personally think that realtor is probably a best friend of Dan Snyder, so he can be like, oh, we were going to change it, but now we don't have any options, so we got to kind of just we got to keep having conversations. So I don't know. I think this is just a delay tactic. I want to investigate and find out who this person is. As far as other teams changing the names, I don't think that that's on the forefront of anyone's mind right now, because none of them are as racist as this one. But I think once this I is dotted, then that conversation will probably come up more often, and it should, because I think like we were all saying, Dan Snyder said he would sell the team before he ever changed the name. And then when his 3 minority owners were like, oh no, we're selling our shares, I legit thought that was going to be the next thing. Like, he was going to gift it to one of his kids or something like that, but he was not going to change the name. So I think everyone's kind of doing what Chris is doing, just standing back in the cut and being like, if this really happens, then we'll start having conversations about changing our name as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, to your point, Jackie, Atlanta Braves actually reviewed their name over this weekend as well, and they announced they will not be changing their name. So I think some teams, maybe the Atlanta Braves were like, nope, we're not doing it. They like literally announced that they were not going to change name regardless. So I think it's very interesting.
He's got to have that conversation. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah,
I can see the Braves, because like, I mean, what you told us, I think it was Friday, that that's exactly what a warrior, a Native American warrior is called. But I think the ignorance. That's like if you weren't watching Brit Stakes on Friday, you probably don't know that. You probably think a whole bunch of people could just be brave. You know what I mean? So it's still an education process. It's still something that enough of people have to learn that this is wrong and why. Because I'll tell you what, you go onto Twitter, Washington fans are not. They don't care either way. They said it's always going to be hail to the So, I mean, it's all about an education thing and learning, and not only learning, but accepting it and saying, hey, if I'm making people feel this way, then it's not a good thing. So that's a very long road.
Yeah, it is a long road. But yeah, also I just want to add on to that, Jackie. I didn't know about the Braves until Brit Stakes on Friday too. I didn't realize it was probably anyway. So yeah, it is such a education.
Right?
I feel like I'm in school.
Right?
Okay, let's get into the third need to know news story. This is hashtag free Woj. Okay, so Woj has been suspended for dropping the F-bomb. He reportedly responded to a press release from Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri by saying F you, and then the senator took a screenshot of the email and shared it with the world, which prompted ESPN to actually receive the reporter. He is currently without pay. So the press release was all about the backs of the NBA jerseys. He was offended that there weren't enough right-wing messages available to the players because I guess caring about human lives is a right versus left issue. I don't understand that. It is dumb. I don't know why this is politicized at all. And I think this press release is really ridiculous. I would have said the same exact thing. So Woj responded and said, F you. But then he had to kind of backtrack and he publicly apologized for the email. Twitter came up with the free Woj hashtag, and it's even gotten the support of NBA players like LeBron James, Lou Williams, Pat Beverly, Isaiah Thomas. They were all writing free Woj. So people were just really jumping on board and showing their support of it. So I want to go to you first, Chris. Do you think that Woj really needed to apologize for sending that email?
No, because you see the content of what was going on, the reason why he had the response he had. That it's bad when Woj is going on and telling you to F you, because that is not in any way, shape, or form Woj's character. He is a very calm and laid back dude, and for him to do that, and which was very warranted. Yes, like you said, if it was any of us that had the opportunity to say things, I think we would say the same thing. So for ESPN to react the way that they did, I think is just crazy because let's be real, ESPN needs Woj more than Woj needs ESPN. So I'm at the point now where we'll see what happens next, because now we might see the Athletic turn into the Warriors, because that's been the meme all weekend long. The Warriors, the Athletic might be the worst to have Shams and Woj out there reporting the news, and that just might be bad for ESPN. So yeah, the fact that they didn't have his back on this, even if it was like some sort of fine or whatever because of the word, fine. But to suspend him and not pay the man, it's craziness. So I'm going more than just free Woj. I'm telling him to quit ESPN. I know his contract is supposed to be up next year. When his suspension is done, I want him to be like, thank you. All right, by the way, here's this letter, and then he's out, free agent. Because I'm telling you, they need Woj more than he needs them. It's crazy.
For sure, 100%. So, Jackie, do you agree that suspending Woj without pay is just overkill?
Look, I am so 100% with Chris. I said the same thing. That's the first thing I was like, damn, when does his contract expire? Because Woj, let's just be honest, he's the main person from ESPN that I'm rocking with still. ESPN is not the ESPN that it was 10 years ago, you know what I mean? And so Woj could literally be like, all right, well, F him and F you too. I'm going to go create my own platform. He could literally do that and be cool. And I think that, at ESPN has supposedly a very strict stick to sports only policy, you know what I mean? But technically, you know, when you have this politician emailing me, it's not, obviously I'm not just, that's not on me, you know what I mean? So ESPN should have tweeted out and said something. Right, I'm not, you don't email me, you know what I mean? And ESPN should have stood by him. They should have tweeted out, you know, we stand by Woj and F you too, Senator, blah, blah, blah. We stick to sports. Don't send your political agenda to us via email. If they just wanted to put their, you know, narrative out there in that way. But yeah, I'm legit with Chris. I wanted him to be like, I'm going to break my contract and holla at me in a year, ESPN. Let's see how that work out for you.
Yeah. You brought up something that I was thinking as well, and Britt, this kind of goes into my question to you. Do you feel like this is a great opportunity for ESPN to align themselves with something more meaningful? Like, I think it would have been just as effective for them to say, we don't condone that language, but we do support Woj's stance on the issue, and they could have made a big impact on the social justice movement. Do you feel the same way?
Okay, I have a couple things here because I feel like if they would have done that at this point, it would get in trouble as well, because let's not forget why Jamel Hill is no longer there. Let's not forget why Justine Anderson's contract is not renewed. Let's not forget why Carrie Champion is now leaving as well. ESPN has historically fired Black women because they spoke out on their own personal social medias about different kinds of things. So if they would have kept Woj in this situation, they would have really looked a little, you know, on the
racist.
Something I don't want to.
It's racist.
It's racist. To do this over and over again to Black women, which was the reason why there is hardly any Black female faces on ESPN anymore, is because of them doing the same thing. So I think Woj and Jamil and Carrie Champion and Justine Anderson can all start a channel together, and I think all our eyes would go and watch that a lot more than
that's it. Yep. Easy.
So go. I support y'all. Go start a YouTube. Go do whatever. If y'all are hiring, I would love to work with y'all too. Let's keep doing these platforms where you can talk and speak and do whatever you want to do. You know. So yeah, I think the reason why they didn't is because they absolutely couldn't, because of their history with what they've done to female commentators that work for ESPN.
But that's the unfortunate thing too, because now I also think that they don't realize that they have their power. Because if I was Carrie Champion, if I was Jamil Hill, I would have contacted Woj and been like, look, #FU2. You know what I mean? And now Carrie Champion and Jamil Hill have already joined forces. Let's throw Woj in there. I think that overall, when we talk about the NFL and now we're talking about Woj, these athletes don't realize their power in the NFL. Like Woj,
power they have, yes.
They had you are Woj. Everybody quotes you. People will sit around and be like, it ain't real if Woj ain't said it. Like, people literally live and die by who you are.
I was looking for him to say, I was like, I need confirmation from Woj. I need confirmation. And I think people, I think news channels in general don't understand that we're in an age now where we can get news very quickly in different capacities, whether it's Twitter or just Googling something. So people watch channels for the personalities on it. They don't watch them to get the news anymore. They're watching to see what those people have to say about something. And I think that even news itself, it's not what it used to be. It's not the news channel that matters. It's the people that work for the news channel that matter. And ESPN because everybody wanted to be with ESPN, but now it's like, no, we're just watching to watch certain shows. Like, people love Stephen A still, so people still watch for that, or getting information from the certain people. But if it's just ESPN, like center stuff, people don't watch that stuff anymore. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, none of that stuff matters. Personalities. So the power is there with all of the individuals now because of social media. Same with sports stuff. All sports athletes have much more power now because they have their own platforms.
Yep.
Facts.
All right, guys, that wraps up news. Looking forward to start his own thing. Let us know in the chat, or if you're on board the free Woj train, let us know.
Free
in the
Woj.
chat. Yes. All right, Chris. Well, will you take us into the post up?
Yes, guys. Welcome back to the post up. bubble edition, because we got a lot of bubble updates for you here on the post up. So buckle up, because a lot has happened over the weekend, and it's mostly pretty damn funny. Oh boy, starting with this one, coming from Ben Simmons, and I laugh because it's just the elements. It's just so perfect. Okay, so a lot of players, that there's a lot of fishing is a very common sport with a lot of players in the league. We see Paul George, who's very he shows all of his catches and everything on his social media. And there's tons of other players who do the same thing. So over the weekend, a lot of players were getting together and they're fishing in the bubble. But Ben Simmons out here showing that his his toss back game, because normally after you catch a fish, you show it, get the picture, you toss it back in the water. Yeah, Ben Simmons' toss back game is just as broken as his actual jump shot, and it's sad because he was using his left hand in the same way. Can we get this first video, please?
Yes, sir.
Look at him; he's all happy about a little kid. Look, like. The poor fish. Like, my God, like that could have been such an easy thing. Put the fish back in the water, and that man just let it go. Like, oh my God. So just seeing the responses and the memes on Ben Simmons, somebody was like saying that maybe Ben Simmons truly is right-handed and he just continues to foolishly use his left in both basketball and with fishing. It's just all kinds of memes. I thought it was great because at first I thought it was just with his right hand. I'm like, oh God, Ben Simmons being Ben Simmons. When it was with his left hand, I was like, oh my God, let him have it, tear him up. Anyways, moving from that to some comedic drama. Yes, if I had some music, it'd be like dun dun dun, because there is some drama in the bubble. Now, first, I'm going to show you this video that might seem all, happy and, kind-hearted and it was good stuff, Luka Doncic and Boba Wojnarowski are now teammates, and they've been getting really close throughout the season. And being that they're at Disney World and they're playing their game in Disney, they decided to do a little promo where they're bringing back the whole, you're watching the Disney Channel, to draw the Mickey Mouse head and everything like that. And then they also show some bloopers after that. So before we get into the drama, I want you guys to see this. Luka's so mad.
What the hell?
Now, people who know me, oh my God! If you watch, you just have to watch one of my videos, and I've even brought it to the Fumble because I edited for the Fumble. I love zoom-in comedy. Zoom-ins, to me, it's just hilarious because you always catch somebody making a face that they don't even realize they're catching, and it amplifies comedy. So when they were zooming on everybody, made me laugh. But stop laughing, because there's somebody who is in their hotel room upset. He is upset about the shenanigans going on in the bubble right now, because we're talking about Luka and Boban. It wasn't always like that. Do you guys remember the Bobby and Toby show? Huh? You guys remember the Bobby and Toby show? Are we just gonna forget Tobias Harris? Tobias Harris is he's out there. It's the Squidward meme. He's out there looking out the window, watching Boban and Luka Doncic having fun while he's just in his room, like, damn. And there are people they're adding him on Twitter, like Bleacher Report and Overtime. They're out here bullying Tobias Harris. And now we got even Boban bullying Tobias to an extent, because he went over to see Tobias in his room. He's stuck in his room right now. I'm not sure if he didn't pass one of his TED. There's no confirmation on that, but Boban's saying that you got one more day before you can come out. I don't know the details on that, but the point of the matter is Boban came over to see him, and he was videotaping him from his room. Now here is the lighthearted Boban Marjanovic version of the interaction between his ex, Tobias Harris.
Hello guys, go find it. Toby, are you one more day in quarantine? One more day, brother. One more day. And I beat you in this. One more day, brother.
See, you can't really hear Tobias, and it's all lighthearted and it's all cute. Like, oh, they're gonna get back together. No, Tobias was upset, and he was up there flaming Toby, talking about, nah, you moved on. And I have his side, because if you can't see, he's there recording right there, and I have his side of the story right here. If we can get Tobias's video now, hopefully. Oh no!
Oh wait!
Oh, that's not Tobias. That's JJ. Throw him back. Okay, I guess then we don't have the video. Either way, it doesn't matter because Tobias Harris, like I said, he was filming from up there, and yeah,
Put your phone down. I don't like you no more.
There it is. He's hurt.
One more day, brother. One more day. Nah, you got new friends.
Aw.
You got new friends.
I felt that. That was hurt. He's hurt. He even said, "I'm still salty" at Vovon. But man, the drama. So we'll see. Will the Bobby and Toby show come back together in the bubble? Stay tuned, and I'll get it to you here on Post Up Bubble Edition. But for right now, he's waiting on him to come down. So as you guys saw, a little sneak peek of JJ Redick and Myers Leonard. Well, first of all, Myers Leonard tried to issue a challenge to players within the bubble because he found some beer in the bubble, and he was challenging some players to a shotgunning contest. And JJ Redick answered the call. First of all, Myers Leonard I've never seen anyone shotgun beer as quick as Myers Leonard did, but JJ Redick did a pretty damn good job. So here's their side by side little shotgun contest gag. If we can get that video, Leo.
That's the one. That's the one.
Well, watch Myers Leonard.
And just so I have proof that this is an incredibly full beer,
that,
you can see that there. It's a 12-ounce Coors Light. Cheers, everybody.
You look weird. Why you yeah. I blinked. I didn't even know he was drinking the thing. But okay, all right, go ahead, Myers. You saying nah? Who said nah? You said nah, Britt?
No, that's just crazy. I didn't say nah. That's just
I
crazy
thought you said nah like you knew someone faster. Yeah, that's insane. Again, couldn't be me. Shout out to them. They have that. But yeah, Myers Leonard is a big dude.
It
is turning into a fraternity house. It really is turning into a fraternity house. And speaking of which, it's funny you say that, Britt Johnson, because there's one problem that I think we continue to talk about when it comes to this bubble, and it has nothing to really do about Rona. People are thinking that this bubble is going to pop at some point because these players are not going to be able to keep it in the pants and keep their I'm trying to be nice. Keep their side pieces outside of the bubble. And we already got one lady out here telling on herself and someone in the bubble. Now, she came out here tweeting, if we can get that tweet up. She came out here and she tweeted this out saying, I already got invited to the bubble. Yeah, the season definitely ended early. Now, for whatever reason, Mo Bamba's out here trying to stir the pot. He added Donovan Mitchell saying Spider Mitchell already wilding with the face palm emoji. If we can get that one up next. But the thing is, Donovan Mitchell responded to that, and he said it wasn't me. And thanks to y'all, keep this one up, Leo. Thanks to y'all, because there's a lot of FBI in the Twitter world. It looks like they got the culprit. It is Clippers' own Montrezl Harrell. They went through all his follows. And she is not being followed by a single NBA player except Montrezl Harrell. Now that doesn't mean that she ain't got no numbers in her phone or her number ain't no other player's phone. But simply with the fact that she had the audacity to come out there and try to put someone on blast on Twitter, that left all of the Twitter police to go out there and catch Montrezl Harrell. And so here's the thing. Now, like I said, it ain't confirmed. We don't know. We ain't probably never gonna know. But we've talked about it. I'm not even gonna ask you guys if you still think this is a problem, because I'm sure the answer is still gonna be yes. It's still definitely a problem in my eyes, I think. But the real question is, I'm gonna come to Britt Johnson, the Clippers fan. Do you think that your boy Trez was the first one out here trying to pop the bubble?
So I would like to believe that Trez is going to do it the legal way and have her come in 6 weeks when all families come. And that's just the girl that he decides to bring that has to quarantine and go through the process. I don't believe Trez is going to try to sneak her in, because in more tweets that they had, she was like, oh, you think I'm going to fumble the bag, but really me and the guy right now are laughing, reading all the comments together. So I don't think he's thinking it like he's going to get in trouble, because I don't think he's going to try to sneak her in. I think he's going to try to legally get her in. At least I hope so. Trez, don't do that, because we got a one-up now that Rondo's out. We got a one-up now with the Lakers. And Riley out too. So let's not do this,
They
Trez.
fall like flies.
Can't lose it, my guy.
All right. Well, Trez, hit us up because you already got Britt Johnson ready to defend you in the court of the bubble smuggle. Because right now it's looking like you're the one that might be breaking the first one in. But hey, Britt's got a point. You know, they had that limit where they might be able to bring in people the right way, and maybe Trez is on to that. But we'll see. Again, stay tuned for the next episode of Post Up Bubble Edition. And on that note, we're moving off the bubble news because that's all the bubble updates I got. We're going to actually from one bubble to another bubble. I lied. We're going to the WNBA bubble, and I thought this is cute. And I can promise you, Derek, I'm not going to be the one to break the news, okay? But Derek Hammy, who is a player in the WNBA, she has her daughter with her in the bubble, and every time she sees the WNBA logo, she points to be like, "Oh, that's my mommy." Derek posted this tweet saying, "My daughter keeps seeing the WNBA logo and says, 'That's mommy,' and no one better tell her it's not." And all the responses were hilarious. Everyone just like zip lips, and everybody like, "I won't say nothing," because I felt that threat. And trust me, coming from me over on the post, I ain't gonna say a damn thing. I thought it was you the whole time. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Moving on to the next one before they come after me here on the post up. Josh Hart. Josh Hart is known for, being left hanging whenever he's going for a high five. And well, unfortunately, it seems like he got left hanging on Twitter as well. But I mean, I don't think he should be upset about it. I think he just wanted to be included because he had some changes. But let me explain. Chris Haynes reported, he's from Yahoo Sports. He reported that because we were talking about Zion Williamson and him looking beefed up and whatnot. Chris Haynes also reported that there are other Pelicans players that also had some changes throughout the quarantine. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's the other rookie, he grew half an inch. Congratulations. Brandon Ingram, who I call the stick bug, even though I would love for you to sign with the Knicks in the offseason. Brandon Ingram, all right, you got my number. He supposedly put on some muscle weight. Couldn't really tell, but congratulations. JJ Redick saying that he's in his best shape. Regardless, all that's being said is, Chris Haynes out here trying to update on the other players on the Pelicans. But there's one player that seemed to have made an update in the, during the quarantine that's a little upset that he was left out, and that is the one Josh Hart. He responded to the update saying, "Hey, so I got a little fatter from the wine, but thanks for, not putting me in there," with a thumbs up emoji. So I'm not sure if he was actually thankful that he didn't add that Josh Hart put on weight because of wine, or that he just was upset that he was left out. I took this as I think he was just really upset that he just wasn't even added in the Pelican update. So Josh Hart, man, it's okay. That's all I got for you. Moving on to the next one. Steph Curry is out here embracing the meme that is the "Look at Curry, man, so inspirational." We know about that meme. We've talked about it. It's an old meme at this point, but he is still keeping the meme alive. Over the weekend, he was a part of a celebrity athlete golf tournament, and while he was there, he met a fan who had his jersey on and asked him to sign his jersey. If we can get those pictures up, he met with this fan right here, super excited, happy about it. But then he also signed his jersey saying, "Look at Curry, man, so inspirational," with his signature on it. And I think that's pretty dope. Like I said, at this point, I feel like it's kind of a dead meme, but at the same time, just the fact that he's aware of it, because it's not a meme he started, that's cool, I guess. But hey, enjoy your jersey autograph from Mr. Steph Curry. Now, going from where pretty much the game where the meme was kind of created, well, not really, but 2K was crashed, okay? And all these players are in the bubble. I don't know what internet they're using, but all of them seem to be streaming right now. Players I didn't even know were streaming before are streaming now. And one of those players is Quinn Cook of the Los Angeles Lakers. He was out here streaming with his two superstar teammates, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Because like I said, everybody in the bubble was playing a video game right now. So he went on to 2K and he was playing with AD and LeBron James, and they damn near crashed the entire server that they were playing in. If we can get that video up, there was literally tons and tons of people.
Oh my God.
Good God.
Come to the squad. Where we at?
So right now, Quinn Cook is trying to get them all to connect. And if you look in the far right, there's a little logo floating. That's LeBron James lost because he cannot find Quinn Cook and AD were in the center of the screen. But LeBron is over there. He don't know where they're at. So basically nothing much to hear. But they spent I want to say 15, 20 minutes of that stream trying to first be able to get on the court. And when they got on the court, the game crashed. But I just love this video so much because everyone's like, "Oh, LeBron James, old head, he don't play basketball or play 2K." That was a perfect personification of that because AD and Quinn are ready to play, and LeBron over there like, "Guys, Marco, where the hell y'all at?" So I thought that was hilarious. So they eventually got on, they played, and it was dope. Last but not least, wrapping the post up with this. Family Feud. I'm a fan of Family Feud. I'm a fan of Steve Harvey, and this recent episode they had current NFL players playing against some legends, some retired NFL legends, and when my man Bruce Smith he was out of answers for the very first question. They were doing the speed round, and it was the very first question, and he had no other answer, but the answer he had, Steve Harvey's response, made my day, and I'm sure you'll make you guys' day too. So here's that video.
If Captain Hook was moonlighting as a handyman, he might replace his hook with what tool?
A hammer.
Try again.
A penis.
Tell me the age a kid is too old to sleep with a what you say?
Why?
Steve Harvey tried so hard to power through it, he couldn't do it, yo. That's what no one reacted.
Because he used to play for the Buffalo Bills, and they be throwing dildos out on the field.
Crazy. So it's just flashbacks.
Oh my god!
Yo,
I'm trying to fix my motor. Can you please pass me my? No, that is terrible. I would never do mechanic work with him. I would no. I can't find my. Can anybody hand me my penis? I would never do mechanic work with him.
You mean the hammer? No, I said what I said. Hand me the penis.
Fix your own car, dude. I'm not helping. I am not helping you.
That is hilarious. Steve Harvey's reaction.
But he literally did the whole like he was thinking. He had 3 head movements and still only came up with penis. Oh God, that is embarrassing.
That's it.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, Jackie, on that note, can you take us into what we not gonna do? Yeah.
Oh God, what we're not going to do is use. That's terrible. Anyway, let me try to focus here because I'm laughing on the inside. But look, what we're not going to do is pretend that LeBron James isn't 100% right on bypassing this whole name thing. So if you didn't listen to my podcast, you guys go listen to my podcast on J-Rate the Fanatic, and I said that the list is trash, and I said that some of it is just downright disrespectful. The one that really gets me, there's a lot that gets me, but one of them that really gets me is the one that says, I am a man, and that is so disrespectful to me. You have a bunch of grown-ass men out here playing basketball, but you want them to wear I am a man so that racists will see them as such instead of a monster. It is such a slap in the face. And then the one that says ally, and in my head, I see like Alex Caruso wearing ally, and then what does that say? Even if he really does consider himself an ally, it looks like, hey guys, I'm one of the good ones. It's really just embarrassing and it's silly. I'm cool with the 285 players who are going to wear something on their backs, but I'm cool with everybody else who's not. Because again, and I see some of y'all in chat earlier, regardless of what kind of haterade you drink, let me just tell you, it is crazy if you don't realize that, number one, LeBron is very calculated and he's very methodical in what he does. He is always thinking about giving back. He is already giving back crazy. And the fact that the NBA didn't even think about asking him first is crazy to me because his movement speaks for itself. It's embarrassing to me. It's shameful. I've been on Twitter and I've been seeing so many people drag him and I do not understand it. But let me just say this. Whatever we do not be so ridiculous as to say LeBron needs to wear something on his back to keep raising awareness for white people, because that is exactly what Skip Bayless did. Skip Bayless was the first one to say that he applauded LeBron. In a tweet, he said, "Good for LeBron. As soon as this list of approved back of jerseys messages became public, I said no. Players deserve more freedom to choose individualized messages." Apparently, LeBron feels the same way. And he says, so he basically co-signed on everything. He said LeBron wishes that he had more input. I don't understand why the league didn't ask for his input, but this morning, Skip Bayless says, "Why I, as a white man, am disappointed that LeBron will have no social justice message on the back of his jersey." Now, you would have to watch Undisputed to know what that reason is. But on Undisputed, he said it is because white people like basketball, basically. And a lot of white people still don't get it. And they love LeBron. So what they need LeBron to do is wear a message on his jersey so it can help them get it. Are you serious right now? So when he did the I Can't Breathe shirt, when they murdered Eric Garner, that wasn't enough. When he stood in front of the ESPYs and said what he said, that wasn't enough. When he built the I Promise school, that wasn't enough. Now you need him to wear some horribly thought out name or phrase on the back of his jersey to help you get it. At this point, if you don't get it because you don't want to. And so what we're not going to do is pretend like anything that any of these players are going to put on their back actually means something, especially when there wasn't that much thought that went into it. So, Chris, I'm going to go to you on this one. I'm sure you have an opinion on this whole thing, but specifically, Skip Bayless. What are your thoughts on that?
Which part? The flip-flop or the fact that he actually kind of agreed with LeBron at one part?
Well, I think his ultimate view is he still kind of agrees with LeBron, but LeBron needed to just get out of his feelings and realize that white people need him to wear something on his jersey. That part.
It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. Initially, I was like, whoa, Skip Bayless is agreeing with LeBron James on something. That's crazy. But then to hear that second part, I was like, oh my God, nope, Skip missed the mark once again. It's just, it's just crazy. And it's crazy that it almost feels as if he had to come up with that so he can keep up with his I hate LeBron James agenda on the TV show. I could be wrong. Probably could be a dumb way to think of it. But to have the initial statement he had, which I was like, okay, and then to say that then on the show, I don't know, missed the mark for me a little bit. But, I mean, at the same time, it does sound like a Skip Bayless take, and I wouldn't expect anything less from him. He definitely misses the mark on a lot of things. So, I don't know, but that is absolutely absurd. Like that he needs that justification for white folks to watch basketball. Like that's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So look, I know there's a lot of people drinking haterade when it comes to LeBron, but at least don't flip flop it. If you're not going to drink it on Friday, don't drink it on Monday. But whatever. Right. So look, it seems like across the pond though, their police are over it. They're done with the hate speech because West Midlands Police is not playing any games. They don't care how old you are. So they get a super loud shout out from me because they just said what we not going to do is act like we ain't going to punish you if you out here doing racist comments. And this one is actually going out to little Timmy because West Midland Police have arrested a 12-year-old after he posted he messaged Wilfred Zaha and said all kinds of stuff. I don't even know. I didn't want to send it to you guys because it's terrible. But basically what he says is you better not score tomorrow because if you do, I'm going to show up at your house looking like a ghost, you black. And then he called them, a disparaging remark. And if you don't know what he meant by I'm going to show up to your house as a ghost, he made sure Wilfred knew because he sent him a picture of a bunch of Klansmen, and wearing their little ghost hoods and they're in their full outfit and they're, of course, holding a cross. And then to add insult to injury, he sent them a picture of a white man in blackface and calling him a Kellogg coon. So he made sure to let this man know exactly what he felt. So after Wilfred and his team, Crystal Palace defeated Villa in Sunday's match, the police waited until the end of the match and then they released a comment that says we were alerted to a series of racist messages sent to a football player today and looking into them, and we are conducting checks and we have decided to arrest a boy. And then Villa issued a statement saying that they were in support of Wilfred as well. They said we condemn all forms of racial discrimination and stand with Crystal Palace. We are working with police investigating this extremely serious matter, and when the culprit is identified, they will issue a lifetime ban. But let's be honest with this for like 2 seconds, okay? This is a 12-year-old boy. he is literally regurgitating anything that he's heard in his home from his parents or whoever is raising him. This is not just him being a racist in his heart. This is learned behavior. So from the only parent on the panel, I have to ask you, Chris, do you think that this is something that they should go after just this little boy? And don't get me wrong, I think that this little boy deserves some punishment, but what about the parents?
100%. I don't know how. I don't know when. They're 100%, because the parents need to be held accountable, because, like you said, he is a kid, and they said he is a kid. He is getting it from somewhere, whether it is from the internet or not. That's still up to the parents to be on top of their kid in that situation. So yes, there needs to be something going back to the parents, because they're responsible for this kid and his responses. I don't care if they could be, they might not be racist. Who knows? But the fact is that their kid is out here saying these things because they're getting it from the internet and whatnot, and they're not seeing that and they're not aware of that. Like, you can't use that excuse like, oh, well, adults just don't know the internet. You can't use that excuse anymore. You know what I'm saying? So no, they need to be well more aware of what's going on with him and what he's out there doing on the internet, for sure. So yeah, I 100% think they should go to the parents, for sure.
Yeah, if they're gonna ban the kid, ban the parents too. So
ban them
that's
all.
all I have for what we ban them all. But that's all I have for what we're not going to do. But before we move on to Brit's takes, I just wanted to remind you guys that the Fumble Squad is working to raise money for the Equal Justice Initiative. EJI is an incredible nonprofit organization that provides legal representation to prisoners who may have been wrongly convicted of crimes, or poor prisoners without effective representation, and others that just might have been denied a fair trial. So we want to push the need for social change by sharing some very important stories about activists or people who were wrongly convicted. So today I'm going to share with you one that we've actually talked about on the show, and I'm excited to kind of shed another light on it. Maya Moore, who has won 4 WNBA championships, a WNBA Most Valuable Player Award in 2014, WNBA Finals MVP Award in 2013. She's a WNBA MVP. She's been to All-Star games. She was Rookie of the Year in 2011. But in 2016, Maya wore and the rest of the Lynx wore a shirt that said, "Change starts with us. Justice and accountability" on the front, and then on the back it said "Black Lives Matter" and the names of Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, who were murdered by police. So she clearly took that sentiment to heart, because Maya made an amazing sacrifice, foregoing a chance for another championship and her salary at the peak of her career. She did so to focus on the injustice that Jonathan Irons was experiencing for over 2 decades, thanks to our justice system. Irons was just 18 when he was sentenced to 50 years for burglary and assault crimes, and he unwaveringly denied any wrongdoing in those accusations. And Maya met Irons when she visited the correctional center before her freshman year at UConn. And after seeing her godfather, Reggie Williams, reviewing legal documents regarding Irons, she just was compelled to take act. She said, quote, "In that moment, I really felt like I could not rest." And thanks to her efforts, on July 1st, so that's not too long ago, guys, Jonathan Irons walked out of the penitentiary a free man after serving 23 years behind bars. He's 30 now. And while you might not be able to drop out of school or maybe quit your job and really focus on helping someone like Jonathan Irons, you can still help. You can be a part of the movement right here, right now with us, and you can click the EJI link, or you can send a super chat to donate. All of the proceeds will go to EJI. Anything helps, and we are so glad that we can share some of this great news and this push for change that Maya Moore is doing. If you want to learn more about the Equal Justice Initiative, you can visit their website at EJI.org. Please do not forget to donate, and thank you guys so much for every one of you that already have done so. But now let's get Chris back up here, because it is about that time for Brit's Takes.
Brit's Takes.
Oh, Brit, you're silenced.
You're muted. Turn your mic up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. We're almost at $1,000 for the donations, so it's pretty amazing. Now, for Brit's Take today, I thought it'd be interesting because Chris basically had a whole segment about the bubble, and one of the things he mentioned in there is, will this bubble pop? And that's going to be my Brit's Take. Will the NBA bubble come crashing down? Now, NBA has already begun to, as Chris was saying, bring their girls out or try to bring their girls out like the ugly Anna. Like, I didn't call her ugly Anna. That's her Instagram name. Sorry, guys. But the girl that Trez is supposedly supposed to bring out, that's her Instagram name. So guys are already trying to do that kind of thing. Hopefully he's doing it in the legal way. But with players now, I don't know if they are or not. I don't know what's happening. I have friends that have already said that their DMs have gone crazy with a bunch of NBA players sliding in right now, trying to talk to people because they're so lonely. It's not even been a week yet where they've been in this bubble. But apparently grown men, like Chris had warned us all before, are very reckless. And they apparently can't keep it in their pants for the 6 weeks until they are allowed to bring people out there. Russell Westbrook was just announced today that he actually tested positive for the coronavirus. He posted in a statement and said, "I tested positive for COVID-19 prior to my team's departure to Orlando. I'm currently feeling well, quarantined, and looking forward to rejoining my teams when I am cleared. Thank you all for your well wishes and continued support. Please take this virus seriously. Be safe, mask up, hashtag why not." So he was actually supposed to join the team on this upcoming Wednesday, along with James Harden, who has not been in bubble just yet. It has not been announced why James Harden is not in the bubble by the team, but because Russell Westbrook announced today that he had COVID, people are possibly saying that James Harden might have had it too. We don't know the reason exactly, but before this bubble is already beginning, we already have a bunch of players that haven't attended because they have COVID. We've had players get injured. We've had so many things happen. People are trying to bring girls in. It's kind of crazy, and I just at first I was like, okay, well, the bubble's the safest place once they actually get there. But now I'm starting to wonder if players have the heart to stay in the bubble, because players have also been complaining a lot. We've heard so much complaining from players this week about their food being bad. And before Rondo got hurt, we now know he's hurt. He'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks, which probably means he might not return back for the playoffs for this season. But if we can get that picture up that Rondo posted on his social media, talking about that right there is a Motel 6. That looks like a hotel to me.
That's nice.
It don't look like a Motel 6 to me. But
Yeah, for real.
these NBA players are looking for anything to complain about, and I feel like we know Joel Embiid talked about, he had actually a bunch of food, some grilled chicken and salads and stuff like that, talking about to lose 50 pounds. And I just feel like, I don't want to say this in a negative, mean way to players, but you guys literally sound so tone deaf. There's so much going on in this world right now. There's so many people who can't even afford to feed their families. And you're talking about that hotel, Rondo, looks like Motel 6 to you. Mind you, the Lakers are staying in the best hotel of the bunch because they are one of the top seeds in the NBA right now. So they actually got the best of the best hotel. And that hotel does not look like a Motel 6. Your meals do not look like what the WNBA players stuff looks like. And you guys are still sitting here complaining and crying. You guys haven't even been there for a week. You're already trying to get girls in. You're already trying to do the most. Be professionals. Like, you guys literally cried a month after the lockdown began because you wanted to go back to work because you guys were going broke. Were you guys not crying about going broke a couple months ago? You guys now have an opportunity to continue your season and make millions of dollars. Yeah, you guys are still complaining about the most irrelevant things. Like, you guys are supposed to be there in basketball, and like you guys have been saying, bring more awareness to the social injustices going on. You guys posting your food that actually looks pretty appetizing to a lot of people who don't have what you guys have right now, or that nice, warm, comfortable bed right now looks a lot better to people who are literally living out of their cars or in trailers or whatever right now. Like, I just feel like the NBA players, or not everybody obviously, but there's a good chunk of them that are being so tone deaf during this time. And you guys were begging for the league to start back up because you guys said you didn't have any money. the league put $1 billion into this bubble. So I don't understand what else you guys wanted to happen. I feel like that room looks like a lot of the rooms you guys stay in when you're on the road anyway. I don't know that you guys all stay in the presidential suite, Rondo. Like, I don't understand what you guys expected to happen. You guys knew you were going to be staying in a hotel room. That is a very nice hotel to stay in. You guys knew you had to go through things and you were going to be eating room service food or whatever the case is, which that's room service food. It's not necessarily the greatest food in the world all the time. Eat it. Like, stop complaining about it and focus on playing basketball and focus on posting stuff about the social injustices. So at this point, I kind of low-key feel like this bubble might burst. I feel like they just seem so entitled right now. You guys are deserving of great things. You guys made a lot of money and you guys live great lives. But I just feel like in comparison to what you guys yourselves were complaining about, you guys just sound really tone deaf. I feel like you guys are losing perspective on what the actual goal is here, and it's annoying. It's just shut up about the bubble being so terrible, because you could have it a lot worse right now. I think it could come crashing down before season's end. But Chris, I'm going to ask you, is the bubble doomed because, according to you, men will be men? Do you think the players in the NBA look tone deaf that are posting stuff like this right
now? Yeah, I do think it's gonna. Gosh, I hope not, but I do think it's gonna burst because we're not even. I think we're barely even. Not even a week. We're not even a week. I can't even give them that credit. Can't even give them credit for that. Yeah. Right. So, and they're already having problems with this. We're having this little situation, like you said. Hope maybe it was a planned thing for later on when they're allowed to come, but I don't know. I'm a little worried about it. And then on top of that too, with the whole Westbrook case and stuff like that, and players within the bubble, who knows how many players it takes for it? Who knows? There's so many questions about that. But as far as the tone deaf thing, I think that's 100% accurate. I was even saying that too, because like initially, yeah, I mean, haha, he, but then when you got the entire 20 players out of all the 22 teams having issues and problems with things that aren't even that bad, like it really is starting to look tone deaf, and it's taking away attention from what these guys were saying that they wanted to bring attention to. Now we're paying attention to, the food situations, like funny moments like Boban and stuff like that. Cool, like that's fine. But when we're talking about you're wasting our time with good looking food when there's people who probably aren't even getting food like that, and it's just piling on and stuff like that, like it is looking very tone deaf. So I 100% agree with this take on this one. And hopefully somebody is saying something. Some of these vets are saying something, because a lot of these are coming from the younger players. So hopefully some of these vets are saying something to the guys. But yeah, it is definitely looking tone deaf.
Jack, this is a quick question to you. So one of when Chris was doing his little thing earlier about the ugly Anna girl, somebody had commented on that and said that we really think that, which I thought the bubble would be pretty secure, but he made a good point in saying that we really think the bubble is going to be secure. There's literally people in prison that get drugs still in prison, and your ass is checked. So if you're able to, prisoners are able to get drugs in prison when they're literally searched. Maybe I'm second guessing now how secure the bubble really is. Are your thoughts still the same about, you think girls are still going to be able to get into this bubble, and that could actually end up ending and bursting the bubble right now?
Yeah, I've been saying that. I mean, to your point, there's literally inmates, in prison right now. Like, there's female prisoners that are having full-on relationships with male guards. So I think that technically people who are in positions of leadership for the right price or for the right, floor tickets to their favorite game next season, they'll help whoever in. So I definitely think, I don't know if it's going to break the bubble. I mean, it would be nice to say, kind of like you sit your kid down and you have the talk, like, if you're going to do this, practice this safely. Like, give these guys some, in-home tests that they can just give these girls when they come in to make sure they don't have the virus or something, because they clearly have been, there's nothing about the NBA that says responsible, especially when you're talking about some of these younger players. You really got to get to some of the vets before you start talking about responsibility, and even then sometimes it's like so yeah, this was just again poor planning by the NBA, and there's a side of me that's like, oh, I can't wait to say, see, I told y'all, but then on the other hand I'm like, damn, it'll really suck if all of a sudden we have an outbreak because people can't follow the rules, so I still think it's going to happen, but I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah. And really quick, Devin, I actually want to ask you a quick question to that. So if the players do get caught with girls and something happens in a situation that could end up ending the bubble, what punishment would you think would be fair to give that particular player? Would it be a fine? Should he be kicked out of the bubble? Like, what do you think would happen in that situation if a player did get found that he was bringing a girl into the bubble?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like probably a reasonable punishment because it's way more than just bringing a girl in for a good time. Like, he is potentially endangering so many other athletes and, the health of them and their families and all of that. So getting kicked out of the bubble and fined is probably, I think, a reasonable reaction to something like that, just because we are in the middle of a pandemic. And it really could severely hurt somebody if they were to contract coronavirus all because somebody wanted to sneak in Anna from Instagram or whatever.
Ugly Anna from Instagram.
Yes, ugly Anna.
Ooh, I do not like
That's a smart name. That's a smart name because now nobody will think. Yeah.
Bad calling her ugly Anna, but that's her name.
That's her name, yeah.
Smart because everybody's gonna be like, no one snuck in ugly Anna. It's a smart name. She played it right.
All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up the show for the day. We are going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So set your alarms. Make sure you tune in. Subscribe. Leave a comment below. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up. Wash your hands. And we shall see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye. We're
Oh, yeah. Got it that time. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.